Well, there's a lot of things that she does really well, and I think there's a lot of things that make her opponents feel very uncomfortable. One of the things that she can't control is that she's a left-hander, and so there's always something about playing a left-hander that you get pulled out of the court a little bit differently. She can, with her forehand cross court, her forehand is really good, but I think her backhand is better. Her backhand is a little bit more of an aggressive.
Clip 1. Clijsters has put everyone on notice and made a bold statement about Alex Eala. Clijsters came out and flat out declared that Alex Eala has the best technique in the entire WTA, and she can make her opponents feel deeply uncomfortable with her approach and the way she moves and constructs points on the court. And Clijsters did not just leave it at that general statement. She went further and declared that Ayala is a natural left-hander. And that fact alone makes it extraordinarily difficult for opponents to guess her ball movement because the court opens up differently when she plays. The angles shift and she uses her backhand more in an offensive approach than almost anyone else on the tour, making it her single strongest weapon against every opponent she faces. And then Clijsters broke down the whole mechanism of how Ayala plays and moves on the court with the kind of detail that only someone who has competed at the very highest level of this sport can truly provide. Clijsters declared that Ayala with her backhand makes that baseline shot long enough to push the opponent back behind the baseline. And from that position, the opponent tries to use their own backhand to respond. And that opens the whole court for Ayala to make the next shot into the space and have the opponent scrambling for the ball. Clijsters declared that this technique of forcing the opponent to run and chase the ball eventually gets the better of every single opponent. And right now, there is simply no one on the tour who has found a way to get the better of her technique and neutralize what she does. And Clijsters did not just stop there. She went Allen and declared that Ayala has the stamina and the footwork to control the flow of the game from start to finish. Ayala has shown this in the most demanding matchups imaginable, including her performance against Igor Swiatek at the Miami Open. Clijsters declared that not only is her physique and her youth helping her make those runs on the court, but she has also grown mentally enough to handle matchups against opponents of the caliber of Ega and Pauini. Players who test every dimension of what a competitor has to offer.
Work is really good. She has great stamina. She can play, we've seen her, was it Iga last year where she played a really good match, and she's starting to feel how old is she now? 19?
20, I believe.
20. Mm-hmm. She's still very young, but we see the mental growth as well.
Clijsters did not stop there either. She went a step further and acknowledged the discipline and the effort that Ayala has poured into her development through all her years at the Rafael Nadal Academy. She declared that with that kind of demanding environment shaping her, Ayala has been working hard throughout her entire career and that relentless commitment is the deep reason behind her success in the WTA over the years. But Clijsters also made something else very clear. Even though Ayala is great and is having some of the best tennis of her career right now, she still needs to be protected by her team and the people surrounding her.
Work, you are respectful, you are, and she's been around that environment, and I think there's no coincidence that she has the results that she has. But I think it's going to be very important for her to be a little bit protected from the craziness that comes with that.
And telling it all, Clijsters made one thing absolutely clear above everything else. The technique of immediate transition from a defensive back foot position to an offensive foothold is what makes Ayala so difficult to predict and even more difficult to answer from the other side of the net. With her best technique, even at this remarkably young age, she has firmly affirmed her presence on the court. And that presence is not going anywhere anytime soon. Now, here's where the story gets even bigger and even more compelling because it is not only a women's tennis legend speaking up for Alex Eala. The greatest men's player of all time has also gone Allen. Novak Djokovic stepped forward and declared Alex Eala the greatest tennis player the Philippines has ever produced. He said she deserves every single bit of respect and recognition this sport can possibly offer her. And he did not only speak about her influence on the court, he specifically addressed the way her scheduling and court assignments have been managed at various tournaments, making it explicitly clear that he believes the situation around her has not always been handled in a way that genuinely reflects her status and her drawing power as a global attraction. When Djokovic says something like that, the entire tennis world takes notice and is forced to respond.
Alex Eala, that's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries, like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is a big country, and there's a big interest. So things like that happen. I mean, it's you could argue that it was, maybe a poor schedule and maybe they could schedule him on a bigger court. Yes.
Now, here is where the story gets even more compelling still, because it is not only the legends and the analysts driving this conversation forward. The players themselves are jumping in. Jessica Pegula, one of the top competitors on the WTA Tour, and someone with years of experience at the highest level of the game, came forward with her own account of what she experienced when she faced Ayala at the Miami Open. And what she described was nothing short of remarkable. Waiting for her inside that venue. The waiting for her inside that venue. The energy was electric. The crowd was enormous, passionate, impossibly loud, and completely locked in on every single point. Pegula said it was insane. And she meant every word of that in the best possible way. She was not there to complain about it. She was marveling at it. She was standing inside that atmosphere and recognizing in real time that she was witnessing something genuinely special and genuinely rare. Pegula was very specific in what she went on to say. She pointed out that whether it was Miami, the Australian Open, or Dubai, Ayala has consistently drawn the biggest crowd support of any player on the entire tour. People show up for her in numbers that no other player is generating right now. People travel for her. People wait in lines that stretch far beyond what any normal match would produce just for the chance to be inside the stadium and watch her play. That kind of magnetism is extraordinarily rare. And here is Alex Eala already delivering it at this stage of her career without any manufactured campaign behind it, purely through the force of her talent, her personality, and the undeniable power of her story.
And, I'm from there, and the whole crowd was against me, and I was like, what on earth is going on? Like, where do these people come from? And then week after week, as she, has done well and established herself as a really good player on tour, they all come out to support her. And so I think we saw that in Australia when it was kind of overcrowded. They put her on too small of a court. We saw it here. You can hear it from the hotel. You can hear the crowd roaring, especially at night. So it's incredible.